everybody. Welcome back to the Branded by God podcast. My name is Brittnee Smith, and I'm your host. And I'm so glad that you're here with us today. We're going to have such an amazing conversation. And I know I say that about all the conversations, but I feel it down in my shanana that this one is going to bless your socks off. So today I have my new friend, Shawnee Neal of Alpine's Empowerment Agency. And she is going to share with us who she is. But we're going to get into some things around mindset and mental health. We can't talk about our mental health enough. And so I'm super excited that she is here with us today. So, Shawnee, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show, Brittany. You're doing great and mighty things. I know that your podcast is reaching the hearts of the people and really inspiring them and giving them nuggets of wisdom that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. So thank you for being unique and being obedient to God's calling over your life.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's jump right in. Shawnee, tell us who you are and what you do in your own words.
Ooh, sum things up. I'm like a melting pot. I do a lot of things, and the Lord has been working with me on honing in on just doing simple things that make big impact. But I'm Shawnee Neal. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm a mental health therapist. And I've been doing this work for over 10 years. I have a private practice, Alpine's Empowerment Agency, and I enjoy helping people. I've been that way since I was a little girl. I was always that go-to individual that people would come to for advice, just to listen to, whether it was chaos or, some serious things that were happening. I was that go-to individual. And what I found was solace and comfort within that role that I played in my family, within friendships from a very young age. So I took on this leadership role. And of course, over time, the Lord had to work through me to cultivate that because I was a people pleaser. And the Lord helped me to refine who I was and created my identity in Him so that I can walk in those roles that He had bestowed upon me with the gifts and talents that He had given me. So that's who I am.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, you are in the right place with the Branded by God community. And so before we got started, I wanted to make sure I had the name of your agency right, Alpine's Empowerment Agency. And I felt that there was a story behind that name. So talk to us a little bit about where the name of your business comes from.
Yeah, so back in 2016, that's when I first became a licensed addiction counselor in the state of Colorado. And I just had this yearning to be an entrepreneur. Now, I had always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was a child. And I really started to just like sit down and say, I'm going to take this practice to another level, um, and become an owner, of what the work that I was called to do. And I was just sitting down and I was just like, oh, what would I name my business? And I went through a series of names and different like logos. Like I was writing all things out back then in 2016. I was like, not on the computer. I was like, I'm writing things out in a notebook. And I was just like, Alpine. Alpine is my grandmother, my maternal grandmother.
Mm.
And Miss Alpine passed away when I was 5 years old. Now, the thoughts of the first 5 years of my life have always been with me throughout my entire life and what she represented to me in my life. I, of course, learned stories about who she truly was throughout the time because I always felt like this sense of comfort and love for her. And I was just like, that was she the what a grandmother's love, like the idea of a grandmother's love, like I received that from her. And I was only 5 when she passed. So I felt like there was always a void there. And over time, I started to learn more about Miss Alpine. And she was one of those individuals who was the mother in the community who took people in. So I have lots of like aunts and uncles and cousins that were my mom and my and her siblings friends throughout the years. And I was like, why do we call her auntie or her kids cousins? Because they had known my mom since they were kids. Because my grandma took them in and she would feed them, let them stay there. And she was just that person that people would come to in the community that when they needed to lean in on something, when they didn't have a stable house, food, they didn't have a parent that was really active in their lives. My grandmother was that individual. Like she empowered individuals in a way. despite the trials and tribulations that she was going through, which is a whole nother story, but it ties in so perfectly because while my grandmother had her issues with mental health matters and just trauma that she had endured, she was still showing up and serving the community. So I named it Alpine's Empowerment Agency because I didn't want to limit it just to mental health and emotional well-being. I knew that over time it would grow into something else because my grandmother started something, but she couldn't finish it. And I felt like the Lord had called me to do that. So that's the meaning behind the name.
I love that. I love that. And I thank God for Miss
Mhm.
Alpine and all of the Miss Alpines that we have had in our lives, the big mamas that have
Mhm.
raised us up, and I think that it's beautiful that you're bringing her legacy full circle,
Mhm.
right? Because I feel like them big mamas are not big
Mhm.
mamas like they used to big mama.
Mhm. Right.
And so I love that you are honoring her legacy,
Mhm.
in expressing that love, expressing that acceptance. And so the thing that comes to mind that I kind of want us to lean into a little bit is the power of community.
Mhm.
Specifically as it relates to those of us who are the hardworking women of business who are carrying
Mhm.
all the things, we're wearing all the hats. You said you're a mama, you're a wife, you are a business owner, you might be in ministry, you have friends. Like,
Mhm.
how do we define community for
Yeah.
ourselves? And then two, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, yeah. We definitely have to define community by the people that resonate with us, right? Because we grow up in these families and there are lots of people typically in those families, but sometimes you feel misplaced in the family growing up. And I was one of those individuals. That was my story. But with the community, you shouldn't have to try so hard to be connected to the community. The community that's for you is going to be there to support you, help you walk through things, empower you, hold you accountable. They may ruffle some feathers. There should be healthy confrontation within the community, but most importantly, there should be growth and unity within that community. So that's how I define community. For me, I have shifted throughout the times on what my community looked like because I had no idea exactly what role I needed to play in the right community. I was in communities that never served me, but I was
Mhm.
constantly serving it.
Yeah.
And, God has blessed me with great friendships, and I don't have to talk to them every day.
Mhm.
But whenever we need prayer, when we need to step in and fast or hold each other accountable for something, or just show up and support each other with some avenue that we have going on, whether it's business wise or, just any celebration, we're able to connect with each other and do that. And that has been a journey for me in itself when it comes to friendships and business, because it's ideally been, typically has been a
Sure.
solo journey, but I know that you can't walk this journey alone. Is the Bible speaks, about the importance of fellowship. Like you need those individuals that you can lean in on just to hold you accountable, but also you need to be able to have a mirror image coming back at you so that way you can grow and develop in life.
Absolutely. And so, as a mental health professional, can
Mhm.
you speak to the difference in your mental health from the seasons you didn't have good community to the seasons you do have or have had good community? Hey, girl. Listen, April 25th, 2026, from 9 to 5 p.m., I need you to meet me in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at the Branded by God conference. It is the business conference for Kingdom women. And if you're listening to this podcast, you are supposed to be in the room, okay? We are going to have an amazing lineup of speakers. We have a panel discussion that is going to rock your socks off. But more than all of that, you know that you need to be connected with and in community with other women of God who are doing a dang on thing in the marketplace. You need to be there. Your cup needs to be filled by another sister who gets it. And you get to shop the Branded by God marketplace. We are going to have some amazing, incredible vendors that you won't be able to get anywhere else. So I need you to visit the show notes and go to BrittneeSmithCreative.com/bloom. And I want you to get your tickets. And there may be a little bit of a coupon code in there for you to get some dollars off, okay? Because that's how bad I want you in the room. So make sure you join us for the Branded by God conference, Saturday, April 25th, 2026 in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at the Legacy Club. Get your tickets today.
Yes, yes. There was a lot of isolation and confusion, a lot of sadness, a lot of anxiety, just a lot of things that were heavy burdens.
Mhm.
And then when I got with the right community, there was a peace, there was an ease to it all. Like, life is already challenging in itself, but you don't want to have challenging relationship after relationship as well, especially if you come from a broken family and those relationships are broken. Naturally, there's like this void to want to be connected. And you can connect to the wrong people. But when you get connected with God, He connects you with the right people. And that was my journey. Like, I had to really hone in, lock in with God, build that relationship with Him, feel His love, right? Because I couldn't feel it before because I wouldn't allow myself to, for Him to have access to me in that level.
Mhm.
But once I did that, the love of God, it helped me to have a different perspective on life and on people. And it made me holding myself responsible for vetting the right people out, because people will come and go in your life. And I'm telling you, they will flock to you. If you are doing great things in this world and you're very intentional and you kind hearted, they will flock to you automatically, but you have to have that eyesight to be able to vet them. And there has to be a level of healing that you have arrived to in order to properly vet them, to discern, okay, why are you coming here? Are you coming here to take something from me? Are you coming because we're equally yoked and supposed to be aligned with each other to go ahead and accomplish something in this season?
Absolutely. You just made me think of something. And as I know my audience, so y'all, this is for you because I'm hearing the thought bubbles in your head right now, and
Mhm.
you're trying to figure out if you should keep listening because it's getting a little too real, right? We don't like to face the pink elephant in the room that lets
Mhm.
us know, or that speaks to the fact that either we're not in a community, or we're not in community that serves us, and we're the one giving, 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 and it's left us empty, it's left us depleted, we feel unsupported. Or you are part of great community, but you're not healed enough to allow that community to really love on you and support you the way you need to be supported in this season. And
Mhm.
this is uncomfortable. We don't like sitting in this. So,
Mhm.
Shawnee, I want you to give us some signals and signs that we are not healed enough to really receive community.
Mm, 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 mm. This is good. Personal, and because I work in this field where I
Mm.
help individuals behind the scenes with getting themselves prepared. You are not prepared if you are not willing to let go of a relationship. Do you know how many people hold on to 10, 15, 20-year relationships just because they met in elementary school, because, oh, this is all I've ever known. And that person may always talk bad about them behind their back, always abandoning them, rejecting them, and they will still show up for them because sometimes, something is better than nothing. And we
Ooh.
can't have that mindset. You cannot, if you want to be able to walk into a new relationship, you have to be willing to say, you know what, forget everybody. It's just going to be me and God.
Something is better than nothing.
Mhm.
We have been conditioned
Yep.
to embody that. Something is better
Hmm.
than nothing. We live that out in our jobs.
Hmm.
Something is better than that. Now, you know that job is not purpose, it's not destiny, it's not Nathan, but something is better than nothing, right? Or at least, at least he pays my bills, because
Hmm.
something is better than nothing. Knowing good and
Hmm.
well he's a dirtbag, okay?
Hmm.
But something is better than nothing. So you're absolutely right. We will engage and stay in relationships that are not serving us
Yep.
because we're more afraid of what it's going to feel like once that thing is gone.
Hmm.
And I'm reminded of the example and analogy of the, what is it called? The surge protector that has all the different
Hmm.
outlets, right?
Hmm.
If you have all those outlets occupied, you can't plug nothing else in.
Yep.
And the only way that you can plug something else in is if you unplug one that's already there to make
Yep.
room for the new thing. And
Hmm.
we were talking about this on the Branded by God Bible study last night about Isaiah 43 and 19.
Mhm.
Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do you
Mhm.
perceive it? And so you're probably wondering, this is so good because people are, like you said earlier, Shawnee, that when you're doing things intentionally and you're doing things well and you're doing things purposefully and you're showing up, people are in your space trying to get to know you. They
Mhm.
are trying to invite you to lunch. They are trying to get to know you outside of work. Okay, they're
Mhm.
trying to text with you. They're
Yep.
trying to celebrate your birthday, and you are just like, mm, mm. And you don't even perceive that God is trying to do a new thing through your community.
Yep.
He's purging your community. There's a reason why Sister Girl hasn't reached out in 3 months. It's
Mhm.
because she's supposed to stay over there.
Yep.
She's supposed to stay where she is. God has called you to a new place. And so I want you to be aware of the fact that your relationships have shifted, not because you're bad, not because sometimes even they're bad, but because
Mhm.
we grow and evolve every day.
Yeah.
And if you are branded by God, you're a woman of God, you're in business, you got bigger fish to fry
Yep.
than the gossip, bigger fish to fry than the
Mhm.
tea, bigger fish to fry than the competition, bigger fish to
Yep.
fry than the non-reciprocal relationships.
Mhm.
So this is good. Are there any other like red flags that we ourselves can be mindful of that might be indicators that we're not as open to new friendships and new community as we might think?
Oh, we're always comparing ourselves to others. We constantly do it day in and day out. What this person has, what I don't have, like, oh, they're not worthy of it. I should have this. I've gone through all of these things. The comparison, day in and day out. People do that all day, every day, especially on social media. And some individuals don't know that they are so tied to it, so glued to it that it's eating them away and it's feeding their insecurities on a day-to-day basis. You can only perceive what's inside of you. So if you're constantly doing the comparison, it's because you're feeling a void of what's not within you. And that's why you have to detach. And you're not ready for friendships because you'll connect with someone and God will be blessing them, which is a representation of what God is probably going to do to you. Like he's bringing you in close proximity. And what you'll do is you'll reject it by
Mm.
comparing what another person has versus what you don't have, rather than just being excited for them. That's when you know you're not ready for a friendship or any type of a business relationship at that as well, because you won't be able to understand why someone else is going to another level and you're still on the same level that you met them at.
Yeah. So what that translates for me as is if you can't celebrate your sister, you are not ready for community and connection with your sister.
Yep.
If you can't celebrate your sister genuinely, you
Hmm.
are not in a position to steward that relationship well. That's deep, y'all.
Hmm.
That is so deep. And so, Shawnee, I want you now to speak to us on the other side of that. What are some things that we can do to start to take those steps? Because I know it's not something that will happen overnight. I
Hmm.
would love to say, girl, just disconnect with that person and be done with it. It's so
Hmm.
much easier said than done.
Yeah.
So, what are some practical things we can do or practice that will help us break out of those red flags that we just talked about?
Hmm. Well, this is something that I personally did, right? I asked the Lord to search my heart and show me the things, highlight to me the things that are in me that are terrible, things that I need to let go of, things that are a hindrance to me and where I desire to go, because you have to take evaluation of what's going on before you can actually put forth action. So you have to research, research, connect with God. Look back at all of the relationships that failed, friendships, romantic relationships, business, employer, whatever. Look at all of those relationships. I literally did all of that because I said, Lord, I think I'm this good individual. I should have this good life. And all of these things keep happening to me. And that's when he sat me down and said, you need to point the finger at you. And don't stop pointing the finger at you until you have addressed every single thing. And I did exactly that. And that is painful. So you have to sit with that pain and the uncomfort a discomfort of the truth
Mhm.
of what you've been living instead of the lies that you've been telling yourself. Because we tell ourselves too many lies, and if we don't uproot those beliefs, which is connected to some therapy that I do with individuals, I love looking at the mind. The
Yeah.
mindset is so powerful. If you believe that you're a good person, but bad things keep happening to you, you need to look at that again. What does good represent? Because being a people pleaser and showing up and doing everything for everybody, yeah, I thought it was good. That's not good. It's terrible because it tears me down and then it does a disadvantage to the other person because now it enables them to depend on me.
Mm.
So searching your heart and asking God to reveal those things to you. But many of us already know that women are really good at discerning things. We just sweep it under the rug and try to ignore it. Okay. So now you have to take inventory of those things and stop ignoring them. And I say journal, write it down. You probably need to look at the things that are within you that need to change, the belief systems, the habits. Let's talk about the habits.
Oh God.
Okay. Overeating, fornication, indulging in drugs, pornography. Like we need to look at all of those things that go against who God called us to be. Are we stewarding our lives well? If we are not doing that, we need to understand why. And typically the why comes in the form of what happened. What happened in the past? What happened during your childhood? What traumas have you endured? What unforgiveness are you still holding on to? Because all of those things keep you bitter and they keep you stuck. And then also they blindside you. The spirit of pride is a powerful thing, right? That's what pride will tell you. Oh, you're a good person. You deserve these things. Keep living life the way that you've been living. Everybody else is the problem.
Mm.
And when you start searching your heart and start dismantling those things and really addressing them, those scales fall off of your eyes. And now you're at your space of humility. Being humble is a beautiful thing. It causes you to be able to look at another sister and say, wow, you're doing great and mighty things. I'm over here anticipating it in my life, but you know what? I'm proud of you for doing that because I know mine is going to come. So
Yes.
there's no comparison. I know exactly who God called me to be, and I believe his promises. They're sure. And I know that his promises over your life are different from mine, but I see the reflection. And there's nothing wrong with that. I see the God glowing in you. You're doing something at the appointed time that God has given you in your life, and my appointed time is coming. So searching the heart is very powerful. Fasting and praying. Okay. Denying yourself of such good, pleasurable things will also help keep you in that state of humility and things falling off of you. But most importantly, you need wise counsel. You need wise counsel, however that comes from the form of a friend, this Holy Spirit led, a pastor that's Holy Spirit led, going to a mental health therapist that's Holy Spirit led. Like all of those things matter. That's why community is important. The people that you stay connected to, there can be nuggets that are dropped into you that can activate what God has already stored on the inside of you.
Ooh, wait. So heavy
Mm,
on the Holy Spirit led part.
mm,
You
mhm,
said so many good things. I am hoping that as you guys are listening, I know you're listening, but I hope that you are identifying just one thing that you can apply, one thing that you can examine. As you were talking about looking at what happened, really getting to the root of where these things might have gone wrong. What came to mind was doing an autopsy.
mm,
Some of us, like you said earlier, Shawnee, are holding on to things that are old, and some of them things are dead.
mhm,
And we are dragging around this dead thing. It stinks, it's
mm,
heavy, but it's mine.
mm,
But it's what I'm used to, right? Like you said
true.
earlier. But in an autopsy, the I guess it's the coroner, whoever's doing the
Mhm,
autopsy, that person is studying the body, studying the dead thing, and identifying the source and cause of death.
mm,
And if we are continuing with the analogy, the person who's doing the examination, the more examinations they do, the more data they have, the more information they have, right?
mhm,
So if we're examining the different parts of our lives, okay, that's kind of dead. That one's on life support. This one is kind of, I don't know. You get better and better at examining and knowing what to look for
Mm-hmm.
so that you know how to improve the next time.
Yep.
Some of the things that are dead ain't meant to be resurrected.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some things that are on their way to death that you can interject and intervene right now and nurse that thing back to life.
Yep.
The beautiful thing about all of this is that we serve the God of the resurrection. We also serve the God of comfort. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
wherever the situation falls for you, God is with us in it all. He's with us in it all. And the other thing that Shawnee and I are trying to really drive the point home is it is not good for us to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all convinced yourselves, I don't do female friends.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, that's a lie from the pit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We need each other.
Yeah.
We need other women of God. We need other women in business to be able to let our hairs down, to be able to bounce ideas, to be able to be celebrated. There are some things that my community of business women, some things that only they will really get it and be able to celebrate with me. There are only some things that I can share with certain people in those spaces that are going to resonate and they can really like, they just understand and get where I'm coming from. I love that you say I should just be able to cheer for my sister. Like, yo, girl, you are killing it. Like, yo,
Yep.
I can't wait until I get to sit and watch you get an award for this work that you're doing because you are killing the game. There is nothing that you lose from cheering on somebody else.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it makes me feel good. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
good hyping somebody else up.
Yeah.
It just feels good. So we say all that to say that one, healing is required for you to really embrace and take advantage of and experience the benefits of community.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's not good for us to walk this thing out alone. And sometimes you need friends. Sometimes you need pastoral assistance. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need medication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's all good. We just want you to get what you need
Yeah.
so that you can do what you're supposed to do, the thing that God has called you to. So, Shawnee, help us land the plane here. Tell us how we can connect with you, what you might have available for people to grab real quick and download. How can we support your business?
Yeah, well, I am an author. I've written 6 books, and I love sharing my testimony. I love speaking about all things mental health. And most importantly, I always love glorifying God and using the word of God so the individuals can really understand who He is and who we're called to be. And I believe that everybody has a gift and a calling, and they're supposed to walk it out. So you can reach me on TikTok and YouTube at Shawnee P. So I have books. You can go to my website at alpinesempowermentagency.com. I have a nonprofit, Kingdom Youth and Beyond, where I love teaching the youth how to write and self-publish their books, become, young entrepreneurs, as well as helping women and men also write their books, write their testimonies of, really claiming victory in life. So you can reach me there. I just released my book a couple of weeks ago, January 26th. Master your emotions, steps to reject the spirit of fear. So it speaks about just the spirit of fear and how it comes into your life and it impacts your life, what it shows up like. And I give some examples of my life testimony behind it and tangible actions that you can take to really work on rejecting the spirit of fear because it's bigger than just saying I will reject the spirit of fear. It's all about like how it shows up in those small ways every single day that you can reject them. So those are the ways in which you can reach.
Awesome, awesome. Shawnee, thank you so much for having this conversation with us, helping us get free today, or as the church folks say, on today.
Yes.
So excited that you were here with us. And ladies, all of her links are going to be in the show notes. So make sure you check her out, follow her, and share this episode, okay? Because maybe it wasn't you that's carrying the dead body around,
Yeah.
but maybe it's somebody that you know, and you're like, how can I tell her? Like, who's going to tell her?
Mhm.
Let us tell her through this episode. And then by the time she gets to this part, she won't be offended. She'll just know
Yes, yes.
that it was for her. So thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Branded by God podcast. See you next time. Bye.